Calvin Riley was a young man whose story seemed to be written in sunlight and promise. From the very beginning, he radiated a sense of hope and determination that set him apart from his peers. His future felt so close you could almost reach out and touch it, like the warmth of the sun on your skin, or the thrill of a new day just beginning. At just 20 years old, Calvin stood on the threshold of everything he'd ever dreamed of, his whole life stretching out before him like a field waiting to be played on. Born and raised in San Mateo, California, Calvin was more than just a talented athlete. He was a friend to many, a familiar face in his neighborhood, and someone whose laughter could light up any room. To his family and friends, Calvin was the heart of their world, a devoted son, a caring brother, and a teammate who always put others first. He was the kind of person who made everyone around him feel seen and valued. But above all, baseball was his true passion. The game was woven into the fabric of his life, shaping his days and fueling his dreams. As a pitcher at San Joaquin Delta College, Calvin's golden arm was quickly becoming the talk of the town. Scouts from across the region began to take notice, drawn by his raw talent and unwavering focus. He chased his dream with relentless determination, spending countless hours perfecting his pitch, pushing himself to be better every single day. His dedication inspired not just his teammates, but everyone who watched him play. For Calvin, baseball wasn't just a game. It was his path forward, his ticket to a future he'd always imagined. Every trophy on his shelf, every early morning practice was a step closer to the life he dreamed of. His coaches praised his work ethic, his teammates looked up to him, and his family cheered him on at every game, their pride in him shining brighter than the stadium lights. The crack of the bat, the roar of the crowd, these were the sounds that filled Calvin's world, a world he was determined to conquer with every ounce of his being. He was living a life full of promise, a star on the rise, his confidence and optimism shining for all to see. Every step he took on the field was a testament to his hard work and the bright future ahead. Off the field, Calvin was just as remarkable. Always willing to lend a hand, sign an autograph for a young fan, or celebrate a teammate's success as if it were his own. But sometimes, life takes a turn you never see coming. Even the brightest days can be clouded in an instant, and the dreams we hold closest can be threatened by forces beyond our control. For Calvin Riley, that turn was just around the corner, a moment that would change everything, leaving questions that could never be answered. A future so bright, suddenly shadowed by the unimaginable. The hopes and plans that once seemed certain now hung in the balance, as darkness crept in where sunlight once lived. In a single moment, everything would change. The world would hold its breath, and those who loved Calvin would be left searching for answers. And the world would lose a young man who had only just begun to shine, a golden arm, a bright future, and a spirit that touched everyone he met. The summer of 2016 was electric. Pokémon GO had taken over the world. Parks and city streets buzzed with people chasing digital creatures, united by a game that blurred the line between reality and fantasy. Calvin Riley was among them, swept up in the excitement. On August 6th, Calvin and a friend headed into San Francisco, chasing a rare Pokémon near the waterfront. Aquatic Park was alive with players, even late at night. The atmosphere was light, filled with laughter and the thrill of the hunt. Calvin and his friend, phones in hand, were just two more faces in the crowd. They weren't looking for trouble, just a night of harmless fun. Surrounded by others, they felt safe. No one imagined danger could be lurking in such a public, well-lit place. But danger was there, silent and unseen, and it was about to shatter the peace of that summer night. It was just after 10 p.m. when Calvin and his friend found themselves at the edge of Aquatic Park, their faces softly illuminated by the glow of their phones. The world around them seemed quiet, almost peaceful, as they wandered along the winding path, lost in the digital world of their favorite game. Across the bay, the city lights shimmered and danced on the water's surface, casting long reflections that flickered with every gentle ripple. The air was crisp, carrying the faint scent of salt and eucalyptus, and the only sounds were distant laughter and the soft hum of the city at rest. Calvin, caught up in the excitement of the game, drifted a few steps ahead of his friend, his attention fixed on the screen. The park, usually bustling during the day, felt like a different world at night, mysterious, shadowy, and full of secrets. Then, without warning, a sharp crack shattered the stillness, a gunshot echoing through the darkness, sudden and jarring. Calvin's friend, startled and confused, looked up in disbelief. In that split second he saw Calvin stumble, his body folding to the ground as if the night itself had struck him down. Panic erupted all around. People who had been quietly enjoying the night suddenly scattered, their shouts and footsteps filling the air. The sense of safety was gone in an instant. This was no game. Calvin lay motionless on the damp grass, the glow of his phone still shining beside him, a stark reminder of how quickly everything had changed. There had been no warning, no argument, no confrontation. Just a single, senseless act that left the park eerily silent once more. The shooter melted away into the darkness, vanishing as quickly and mysteriously as they had appeared, leaving behind only questions and fear. Nothing was taken. Calvin's wallet and phone remained untouched on the grass, as if the shooter had never cared about them at all. It wasn't a robbery, it was something far more chilling, a random act of violence that defied explanation. Chaos swept through the park as people ran for cover, desperate to escape the unknown threat lurking in the shadows. Sirens wailed in the distance, growing louder as police and emergency crews rushed to the scene. But for Calvin, help had come too late. Calvin Riley, a promising young man known for his golden arm on the baseball field, was gone in an instant, his future stolen in a moment of senseless violence. What began as a night of innocent fun and friendship had ended in tragedy, leaving a void that could never be filled. And as the city tried to make sense of what had happened, it was left with a haunting mystery, a question that would linger long after the night was over. The investigation began immediately, but confusion reigned. The park, usually a place of laughter and light, was now shrouded in uncertainty. Sirens echoed through the night as officers cordoned off the area, their flashlights cutting through the darkness in search of answers. Detectives and park police scoured Aquatic Park for clues, combing every inch of grass and pathway. They moved methodically, hoping to find anything, a shell casing, a footprint, a dropped item, that might point them toward the truth. Calvin's friend, still in shock, described a shadowy figure firing from a distance. His voice trembled as he recounted the chaos, the suddenness of it all, and the way fear rippled through the crowd. The shooter was a ghost. No one saw them clearly. The only certainty was the flash of a muzzle and the echo of a single shot, swallowed quickly by the night. Other Pokémon GO players heard the shot, saw the panic, but couldn't identify the assailant. Some ran for cover, others froze, all united by confusion and fear. No weapon, no suspect, no motive. The evidence bag remained empty, and the crime scene yielded only questions. Why Calvin? He had no enemies, no ties to trouble. His life, by all accounts, was ordinary, filled with school, sports, and friends. Robbery was ruled out, nothing was taken. His wallet and phone lay untouched, as if the killer wanted only one thing: Calvin's life. It was a cold, calculated act, an execution without reason. The randomness of it all sent a chill through the city. Investigators dug into every aspect of Calvin's life, searching for answers. They interviewed classmates, teachers, and teammates hoping for a clue. Friends, family, coaches all described a young man loved by everyone. His kindness and easy smile made the loss even harder to bear. The deeper they looked, the more mysterious it became. Every lead fizzled out, every theory collapsed under scrutiny. Randomness in murder is rare, but this case defied logic. It was as if fate had chosen Calvin at random, leaving detectives with nothing but dead ends. Detectives were left with a puzzle missing its most crucial pieces. Each unanswered question weighed heavier as days passed. The question lingered: why him? Why here? Why now? The city's heart ached for closure. And the city waited for answers that never came. Rumors spread, fear grew, and hope faded with each silent night. The case grew colder with every passing day, leaving only memories and a lingering sense of injustice in its wake. Calvin's death sent shockwaves through his community. In San Mateo, friends and neighbors mourned the loss of a young man full of promise. His family's world was shattered, one moment celebrating his future, the next planning his funeral. The house once filled with laughter now echoed with silence. Grief was compounded by the lack of answers. The police had no suspects, no motive, no new leads. The Riley family pleaded for information, desperate for justice. The community rallied, holding vigils and fundraisers, sharing the slogan, "Justice for Calvin." But as weeks turned to months, the silence from law enforcement grew heavier. The case remained cold, the trail quiet. The family was trapped in limbo, waiting for a breakthrough. Memories and trophies became painful reminders of a life cut short. The senselessness of the crime haunted everyone, and the burden of unanswered questions grew with each passing day. Justice seemed further away than ever. As time passed, Calvin Riley's murder faded from headlines. Investigators exhausted every lead, but the case hit a dead end. For the Riley family, a cold case meant living with constant uncertainty. They became tireless advocates, refusing to let Calvin's memory fade. Years crawled by, 1, 2, 5, 8. Anniversaries brought fresh pain and brief media attention, but no answers. The family continued to speak out, hoping to jog someone's memory. Even the smallest detail could be the key. The community felt the impact. The park forever changed. The Pokémon GO craze faded, but Calvin's story became a local legend, a cautionary tale. The case remained a dark spot on the city's history. The Rileys refused to give up hope, and the search for justice continued. Nearly a decade later, hope returned. In June 2025, the FBI took a fresh look at Calvin's case. Their involvement brought new energy and resources. A new public plea for information came with tangible leads. The FBI released a composite sketch, a bald man with a beard and glasses. For the first time, there was a face to the faceless crime. 2 vehicles were linked to the scene, a white 2015 Hyundai Sonata and a dark Audi A3 wagon. Investigators believed these cars were connected to the suspect. The community buzzed with anticipation. The FBI urged anyone with information to come forward. Suddenly, there were new threads to pull. The Riley family's hope was reignited. Justice felt closer than it had in years. The FBI's new information changed everything. The sketch of the bald, bearded man was everywhere. News, social media, flyers. For the first time, the hunt was for a specific individual. The 2 vehicles offered another critical lead. The FBI hoped these details would trigger someone's memory. A $25,000 reward was announced for information leading to an arrest. Money can motivate, but so can the promise of closure. The family and community watched and waited, breath held. Would this be enough to break the silence? The answer, and justice, now rested in the hands of the public. Today is July 3, 2025, nearly 9 years since that tragic night. The Riley family's wait for justice continues, but hope has returned. The FBI's involvement has opened a new chapter. The sketch and car descriptions are a message in a bottle sent out in hope. The central question remains, why Calvin? The family prays for answers, for closure, for justice. The FBI urges the public, no detail is too small. Calvin's legacy now rests in the hands of those who fight for him. The family will never give up. If you know something, say something. Help bring an end to their long and painful wait.